the bulk of the men that I talk to are in that, early to mid 20s. And a lot of them, they're struggling, but they're like, I'm not ready to do this because when I find a woman or when I get married, like it's going to take care of itself. Why is that not true?
I'm sorry, I'm laughing because I mean, it's certainly not true. Because also it seems like every other guy that contacts me has contacted me because their wife. I've got a little older crowd that contacts me, and um, they're like, my wife is going to leave me, or my wife has left me. Um, so if you think that once you're married that this is just going to magically go away, uh, that's not the case. It requires a lot of hard work. Overcoming this requires lot of hard work. And as wonderful as getting married is, that's not the hard work that is required to overcome this. And and it can be so challenging. Like I have a wonderful woman named Beth who helps me, and she takes care of the wives because I found it's so much easier for a married guy to overcome this if they can have some type of assistance, you know, because I was finding that the wives were actually making this harder. And then understandably, they're really hurt. They're really hurt. They're in despair. They don't know what to do. And it's a lot different than drugs or alcohol. It's, this is something that they think that maybe they cause, like, oh, I'm not creative enough in the bedroom, or we're not having sex enough, or I'm not good enough. I don't look pretty enough or whatever. And think about this, like the movie stars, you hear about these movie stars that have these like just incredibly beautiful wives, and then you hear about that they get caught with a prostitute or whatever, so I would say getting married has very little bearing on, whether you're going to recover from
Yeah.
porn.
Yeah. You're aware of the Coolidge effects, correct?
Uh, yes, but refresh my memory.
So this was President Coolidge. Him and his wife, they went up to a farm somewhere, and the guy's showing them around the farm. They point at one of the roosters, and he's telling them a story how this rooster just like literally has sex all day long, like it's nonstop, like one after another, boom, 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 boom. And Mrs. Coolidge goes, "Hey, can you make sure that you mention that to the president that hey, this rooster out there, he's a freak in the sheets type of thing, right? Like he's just constantly going at." She's kind of like poking at President Coolidge. So the farmer pulls over. Hey, Mrs. Coolidge wanted me to let you know that this rooster is like nonstop having sex all day long. President Coolidge goes, "Same hen?" And the farmer goes, "No, it's a different hen every single time. Make sure you go tell that to Mrs. Coolidge." So there's this novelty component, right? That men
Yes.
are wired for,
Yes.
and
Novelty.
that's what makes this, and then what makes it, so dangerous today is not like you and I've heard you talk about like it was magazines, right? Even sometimes like the Sears lingerie catalog. Like I can remember stealing that out of the newspaper and taking it into the bathroom when I was like 10 years old, hoping that, through some lingerie, you might get a nip slip or something. But with today, you got a 12-year-old boy that can, in a matter of 30 minutes, look at and consume more naked women than yours and I grandfather would have been able to do his entire life.
Yeah.
So it's a completely different animal,
It really is a completely
we're
different
in an
animal.
experiment. I mean, we're 20 years into an experiment on the world, really.
Yeah, I agree. And the word you said, novelty, that's it right there. And that's why internet porn is a different animal than like VHS tapes or magazines. It's like those things are finite. Like there's only so many women in a magazine. There's only so many women on a VHS or even a DVD. There's only so many that they can put on there. But the internet, it's almost infinite, that there's always another woman, and there's always another mate. Your brain sees another mate, and therein is the hook of the addiction. It's like maybe somebody wasn't addicted with magazines, VHS, or even DVDs, but man, when that for me, when the internet came around, like, whew, I was toast.
Yeah.